home of one of SeaWorld's more popular attractions is right across the street from us here at the Busch World Cup. And we're getting ready for the Pro Wet Bike Modified class. These are those motorcycles on water and modified to boot. Already the fastest vehicles in the personal watercraft categories. These wet bike modifieds are faster than the ones that come out of the box.
You're not kidding. They have a lot of modifications, all kinds of different carburetor works. We have some very good racers in this. Alan Cook, Richard Cheek, Brian Maness, Haddon Hertel. A packed field.
These are the big bikes. They sit down low in the water. You'll see them look very different from this once the starter's flag has fallen. They rise up out of the water onto a hydrofoil, and that's why they're able to go so fast. They just don't have a lot of surface area sitting in the water. They can really cook. Not only that, they're powered by 800cc engines. They can go. We're set to go as our starter gets them ready. And these guys start dead engine. There's the green flag. They rise up out of the water, and there you go. What you saw a minute ago is no more as the Pro Wet Bike Modified is underway.
As they punch the throttle, that front foil jumps out of the water. They get up on a plane, and once they do, they're going over 50 miles an hour down the left side of the track now. You really open it up for him here, Brian.
Well, the first man to the buoy was not the first one through the turn. He slid back to second spot. And our leader coming through right now is Alan Cook, number 44. And behind him, it's number 20 boat of Brian Maness.
These are two excellent riders from the west coast of Florida. They ride together on a regular basis, so it's almost like practice out there for them.
Alan Cook, the leader, reaching down to tighten up his shoe or something right there. He took the opportunity to do that on a straightaway. He might have dragged his foot a little too hard in the water and pulled his shoe off.
We'll find it floating a little bit later on today. This is the hydrofoil division. Ultranautics, the maker of the wet bike. It's powered by a 800cc stock Suzuki engine, but these guys have done all kinds of modifications. Carburetor work, pump work. They put high-performance pipes on them, and they're getting every ounce of power out of these machines that they can.
Well, there's a lot of similarities to motorcycle racing. The body English is very much the same. These guys even put a knee in the water, like the guys in road racing do.
They really lean them over, and again, that kind of helps them pivot. They're seated up higher than the ski division, so it's kind of tough to really get a deep leg into the water, but they certainly can turn fairly sharp, not as sharp as the ski division. And they're up high. Brian Maness making his move, taking the outside line, trying to chase number 44, Alan Cook. Alan Cook, 34 years old, 5'10". He's sort of a hometown boy, I guess. Lives here in Orlando, the home of SeaWorld.
No coincidence that, as we have said, a lot of these top watercraft racers come from Florida because, well, they can do it year-round. They don't have to worry about, they wear wetsuits for safety and certainly not to keep warm on a day like this.
And the wet bike class has really developed. This is the second year of ATVA racing, the hydrofoils. And on the right side of the track, Alan Cook and Brian Maness are going to start encountering some of the slower riders, and that's going to be kind of hairy because they're bunched up.
A real big bunch, in fact, of the back markers in this race as Alan Cook is riding the bucket Bronco out there with a number 44 on the side. Brian Maness trying to close some ground on him. And any moment now, they are going to get into that traffic. There's Alan Cook, the leader, making his turn past the first lap rider. And again, to the credit of these riders that have been instructed to move over when they're being approached by the leaders, for the most part, they're doing that pretty well. But they still are throwing a lot of chop, Mark, and that's what's going to cause them a problem, even if they get their boats out of the way.
These 400-pound machines throw a lot higher wake than the ski division does. That foil pushing the water off to the side, it can get really tough out there.
But we've got a pass as Brian Maness has moved around to the lead. I think something happened to Cook's engine. He just slowed right down.
On the left side of the track, it was Cook and Maness, 1 and 2, and now Maness has taken over the lead. I think there was a mix-up actually with some of the lapped riders. Maness took a different line than Cook did and slid right by him. Maness, 33 years old, out of Indian Shores, Florida, 6 foot. So your leader moving now to the left side of the track. You can see how high he's riding up his boat number 20 in the final lap.
See his arms working hard on that bucket Bronco of a wet bike that he's riding out there right now. Boat number 20, our leader, Brian Maness, coming through to get the checkered flag. He made a move at the right time, took advantage, we think, of some trouble by Alan Cook, the early leader. Cook holds on for second, but it's Brian Manis on boat number 20 that takes the win in the Pro Wet Bike Mod class. Well, here's where traffic started to be a problem for Alan Cook, the early leader, making a right-hand turn right here. Brian Manis coming up behind him. Mark, what's going on?
He's ready to take the inside line on one of those lap riders, but what happened, the lap rider didn't know he was there. He came too close to the buoy. He bogged out a little bit. You see the nose of the wet bike went entirely underneath the water. He had to punch it again and come back up on a plane. In the meantime, on the outside, staying on the plane the entire time was Brian Manis, and he wasted no time in pulling right in front of Alan Cook.
Brian Manis is with us now down in the winner's circle, and we're going to have a word with the lucky winner at this point, I would have to say.
Brian, that one must have felt good, beating your buddy out there, Alan Cook. Tell us about that pass.
Oh, felt good, I know that. I saw him go down and take some water over top of him. I knew that would be my chance to jump in front. And after that, I didn't know where he was at. I just kept getting it.
You knew you had him the entire race, right?
You never know that.
How'd the bike perform for you out there?
Oh, it's running great. It's running flawless. Couldn't ask for any better conditions.
And you put on a heck of a show out there. Congratulations, Brian.
Thank you, Mark.
Brian Manis, the winner of our Pro Wet Bike Modified class, taking advantage of some misfortune by Alan Cook. Steven Johnson takes the third spot.
Stand for the pit crew!
When you enter the unknown, it can take your breath away and never give it back. Now, for the first time ever, the most terrifying creatures in the sea in one place. New terrors of the deep, only at SeaWorld. Come make contact if you dare.
Welcome back to SeaWorld of Florida here in Orlando. Brian Drever and Mark Lauber for the Busch World Cup. Pro X2 Modified is in the water. The motors are running. This is the fast class on these runabout machines, Mark, and they're ready to go. Who are we looking for?
Bill Chase, Tim Judge, two of the favorites.
These guys are eager and raring to go. And they have stalled out. No, there the band slips, and off they go, looking for that whole shot into the first turn. Somebody's out in front. Let's see who's going to come out of that first turn. The man that got there first ended up third or fourth, swinging wide.
These X2s maneuver extremely well. They slice through the water. And the leader could be number 10, John Stevens.
That's what it is. It's a 10. John Stevens, I believe, making the big turns there through the S part of the race course. John Stevens out in front on the number 10 boat as he comes around the right-hand buoy. Getting the chase right now. Good race for first and second spot as they get from the right to the left side of the race course. John Stevens.
He knows how to ride these skis, but he better learn how to make his numbers a little bit better out there. Tough to pick that number up.
Into the S-turns on the left side of the course. Right-hand turned around a yellow buoy. John Stevens wrenching that machine pretty hard. He's got a fast boat. He got the whole shot out of the middle of the pack, and chasing him right now, boat number 20, and that is Bill Chase, is the guy that's doing the chase.
Again, John Stevens, right from the local area, owns a jet ski shop in Orlando. Again, sort of the veteran out here, works on a lot of the other racers' boats and keeps probably something stored up for himself. You see him really leaning over the handle poles. You know, the idea in this type of racing, although it looks spectacular, is to keep your pump in the water. That's what accelerates you. The water's drawn from the bottom of these jet boats and shot out the back. The riders turn the handlebars, and that's what directs the stream of the water coming out. John Stevens doing a good job of it here down the front straightaway, and he gets the white flag. 1 lap to go in the Busch World Cup Pro X2 Modified.
He sets his boat into the turn, throws a lot of water out there. And then the right-hand turn, not as much water because he slows down a lot. Scrubs off a lot of speed at the end of that long straightaway. Now he goes off onto the back part of the right side of the race course. He'll make a right turn in traffic here on his final lap. He's going to encounter a little bit of rough water and some difficulty, perhaps. But John Stevens sails right through that traffic, gets past one rider, past the big buoy, into the left side of the course. He's got tight S turns right now, heading for the finish.
Takes a lot of strength and agility to lead and run a race for 8 laps. But it looks like John Stevens has done it successfully here.
He's got the victory, gets his fist in the air. Wire to wire win for John Stevens in the Pro X